Before we went for a break, Olive was reviewing the newspaper. The Daily Nation on page 7 had a very interesting story done by Bernard Mwinzi, the man who voted for his wife. So I won't go into too many details, but I mean, this has drawn so many reactions online, and it's a photo of a man marking ballot papers for his wife at Embakasi Girls Secondary School polling station. The man had earlier told the reporter that the wife could not vote on her own because she had little education. I'll start with you, Caroline. I'm being gender sensitive.
No. I'm more curious why, because the regulations are very clear. If somebody comes into the polling station and they are visibly unable to vote, there is a procedure that has to happen.
Exactly.
The IEBC, an IEBC official should be the one to assist.
Correct.
Whether you have a visual impairment or you are... So for me, even beginning with the man saying, I cannot allow my wife to vote on her own because she has little education. I wonder what level of education is required to look at a voting paper, match with your eyes, if your eyes can see, the name of the person you want and their photograph, which is right there, and either to put a dot, a tick, an X, or even a thumbprint. So I'm more curious as to why the IEBC officials on site allowed this to happen. For me, that's the question. If we start going down the rabbit hole of why this happened and why this man is actually, you know, said what he said, and the responses there, for example, saying if she can manage an entire household, how about a ballot paper? We must realize in the eyes of masculinities and in the eyes of patriarchy, a household is not equivalent to a political process. So even that equivalence is not there. I'm just curious why IEBC officials allowed this to happen. There is a regulation that says how people should be assisted to vote, and this is not it.
Prof, just very quickly, did the man take it too far?
Well, yes, because I mean, you have to look at what the man did, because what you're really asking is whether the man committed an electoral offense or not.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, IBC was present there through its officials. And then, of course, we had observers. We have regulations. We know very specific cases in which you know, voters can be assisted, and by whom. So what you're being told here is that somebody wandered into a polling station, decided to do whatever he did there at the full glare of IBC clerks and so on, basically committing an electoral offense at the full glare and with endorsement of the IBC officials and with all those observers and agents. Really, in fact, for me, the question is, how did this even happen in the first instance? Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a very clear electoral offense. The fellow should, it even has nothing to do with his wife being illiterate and things like that. It is just like, can I wander into a polling station myself and say, no, look, come here, I'm going to show you how to vote. And nobody stops me. Nobody says, no, sorry, you can't do that. Why are you doing that to that person? And I'll be saying, no, because she's a woman and she's illiterate. Is that one of the situations, you know, that are envisaged in the electoral regulations, where somebody then may need to be assisted? And this is linked with another issue that we are actually taking for granted.
Yes.
This time round, IBC did a poor job, if at all, on voter education. And they actually do have a budget for that. The question we are asking was, did IBC even train their officials properly? Really? Because it seems like these were just random people who were collected and put on a petrol, on this polling station. And what happened, even my own experience yesterday in my station, you saw totally emasculated IBC officials who didn't know what to do. On a very basic situation where somebody is saying, look here, I've actually voted in this station all my life, I'm registered here, and I can't find, I cannot be identified. They had to go back and call some people and so on. I would say these are normal things that are expected in an election, and you expect the officials to be empowered enough to know what to do in those sort of situations.
Exactly.
I think it will be interesting, Prof, to look at the audit after this whole process is done. And I think what you're raising is important, though you've really been hitting IBC so hard since yesterday. But